It's good for everybody. Mike McCarthy of the Packers is not on that list. How's Mike McCarthy agreeing? First of all, Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers have a, at best, frosty relationship. McCarthy has worked with Rodgers and Favre. He can deal with ego. Baker's got an ego. He can deal with personality. Baker's got a personality. He's dealt with Favre and Rodgers. Okay, John Dorsey runs Cleveland. Where was he before Kansas City? Green Bay. Who was there? Mike McCarthy. By the way, Alonzo Highsmith is now the vice president in charge of player personnel for Cleveland. Where was he before that? Along with Elliott Wolf, also in the front office. Green Bay. You got all these connections between the Packers. Listen, Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, it's time. I'm not blaming anybody. That relationship's coming to the end. Once Aaron signed that massive contract, there's going to be more pressure on Aaron to win games. Aaron is worn out. Not all. Pat Riley used to say this all the time. Not all relationships. After about 10 years, players tune out coaches' voices. Every 10 years, Pat Riley said, you need to get another job. After 10 years, Aaron's just tuned out a lot of Mike McCarthy. By the way, Mike McCarthy's at fault too. He can be old school and rigid. Aaron's a little more progressive and adaptable. And so you got the California cool guy and the guy that looks like the Milwaukee police sergeant, and one guy's old school, one guy's new school, and they're just done with each other. And I'm not blaming anybody. Mike McCarthy's a good coach. Aaron's a great quarterback. But I cannot believe that name's not on the board. John Dorsey's an old school guy that knows McCarthy, an old school coach. They're a perfect fit. And this roster is good enough to win. This is a good roster in Cleveland. Baker's not quite ready yet to be a star, but it's a good roster. They got players. They got a pass rusher, a couple of good backs, a star wide receiver. I mean, they got a world-class young corner. Denzel Ward could be a Pro Bowler. They got players here. So if you got Belichick's name on that list, that's idiotic. Sean McVay and Harbaugh, those guys are winning in great places. If Harbaugh comes back to the NFL, it's not going to be for dysfunctional Cleveland. Belichick hates Cleveland. I'm going to leave Kraft for Jimmy Haslam. I'm going to leave Brady for Baker. I mean, honestly, was this done by a couple of drunk poker players in Vegas? Who put these odds up? Mike McCarthy, to me, let me shift to this, too. Everybody says Lincoln Riley. Listen, I think Lincoln Riley's really good coach, Oklahoma coach. Let me just throw this out to you. Okay, Steven Spielberg is good for every actor's career. But that doesn't mean many actors can elevate Steven Spielberg's career. Takes a special actor. Okay, Lincoln Riley, all his quarterbacks are good. How do we know that Lincoln Riley looks at Baker Mayfield and goes, yeah, that's who I'd want as my NFL quarterback? He probably looks at Russell Wilson. He probably looks at Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz. I mean, Lincoln Riley has obviously been great for Baker's career. Baker was a walk-on, couldn't get a starting scholarship. How do we know that Baker is so great for Lincoln Riley's career, especially in the NFL? Kyler Murray is the new quarterback at Oklahoma. Through 8 games, compare Baker last year to this new kid, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's numbers are better. A much better athlete, much better scrambler, and his passing yards and his passing numbers are slightly better. Lincoln Riley would never say it publicly. Kyler Murray may be a better fit for him in college than Baker. Every quarterback Lincoln Riley's had in his entire coaching career, they're all stars. Lincoln Riley's a smart guy. How do we know he looks at Baker and goes, that's the guy I want to tie my career to? Hell, the kid he's got right now is performing better than Baker did. Baker's just more well-known. He's a superstar. He's got a big personality. So, you remember when Pete Carroll went to the NFL, Pete Carroll helped every USC football player's career. But Pete Carroll didn't draft a lot of Trojans when he got the Seahawks job. There weren't a lot of Trojans that could help his NFL career. In fact, he took Earl Thomas, a safety for Texas, over Taylor Mays, who was a safety at USC. And people are like, whoa. Remember, Spielberg helps every actor's career. Very few actors elevate Spielberg.